Awesome. And Juliana, I'll let you introduce yourself and then take us through your presentation. I
Yeah.
think the title caught a lot of eyes, and
Mhm.
so we're here to learn.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you for welcoming me here today. My name is Juliana Stachurski. I'm the founder of Mercer Franklin. We are a strategy and marketing consultancy located just south of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee. We help fast growth companies kill the chaos in their marketing, and we build systems that scale. And basically, what that means is we help businesses get really clear because it's clarity that fuels growth, not more tools or tactics or noise, just getting really clear on who it is you serve, how it is that you help them, and ways that you can create a sustainable, responsible growth ecosystem. So, for the past 2 decades, I've worked with companies all the way from startups to national brands. And every business I've worked with has had issues with regards to appropriate email list hygiene. And what that means is the people that are on your email list that you're sending messages to, they don't have them properly organized, if any sort of organization. And that is a huge opportunity area. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to take care of that. Like if you were to open up your email list and it looks more like a junk drawer than something that's super organized, that's what we're going to be helping with. So a lot of businesses, they have a list that contains a couple of really, really great contacts, golden contacts. I'll have a segment of that. And most businesses have duplicate emails in their list. So, for example, they've had more than one lead magnet out there, and somebody has signed up for both lead magnet number one and lead magnet number two. And so that email list is recorded twice inside of their system. And there are always names that people don't even recognize. And then there are names that you just are junk names. People have the garbage email lists, if you will, or the email that has a misspelled email address in there. And those are the ones that are going to be completely unresponsive. And the interesting thing is, you are paying to email them because they are on your list and included. So here's the thing, if you have a messy email list, it is absolutely not a sign of failure. In fact, it's a sign of growth because it means you're out there doing the work, you're collecting leads, you're meeting people, you're building your business, and you've earned that chaos. But what I'm going to teach today is how we're going to go ahead and make it work for you. So the cool thing is that the messier the list, the more potential it holds. So I've seen clients unlock six figures in new revenue simply by cleaning up, sorting, and segmenting what they already had. You don't necessarily need more leads to make more money. In fact, people forget that it is a lot easier to generate more revenue from someone who is already on your list, someone who has already purchased from you, than to acquire a brand new customer. But too often people ignore that and they spend all their time and their energy and money trying to get new blood into the ecosystem. When if they just took care of the people they already had, they would be able to monetize so much more and with so much less friction. So the good news, we're not going to get overly technical. We don't need a fancy system. In fact, this even works if your list is still just in a spreadsheet. And by the end of the session, I'm going to give you three clear things that you can do today to go from your email list chaos to absolute clarity so you know exactly how to make your list work for you. Cool. So let's go ahead and dive in. So if you are like me, and most
Juliana, are you advancing slides on your side?
I will right here. So, yeah, I
Cool.
am. Um, so if you have a list similar to mine where you've gotten leads from a lot of different sources. So maybe you've had a giveaway, maybe you have a lead magnet, maybe you've met somebody at an event, and they all sit in one repository. You've got a mix of really great contacts for your business, and you've got a list of people that are just dead weight. And so a lot of people don't ever clean it up. And the cost of having a super messy list is, well, it's more than just having disorganization. The first thing is that it's wasting money. You are literally paying to have emails go to people that never open them. Because when you hit your list, you're emailing to the entire size of that list. So you're paying to keep those contacts on there. And if half of them are no good, you're paying for an entire list when only 50% actually has any money in it for you. So the second cost of that dirty data is that you're going to get bad insights. So when you take a look at your reports and you look at your open rates or your click-through rates, that data is going to be skewed because it's going to tell you out of 100% what percentage of people actually clicked. But if you know that only 50% of those people are quality email contacts, your open rate might be a lot better than you actually think it is if you decided to just email to the people that are actively engaged. And the third thing that happens when you have dirty data is that you miss opportunities. That means you miss the opportunity to personalize messages for your audience that will help meet them where they are at in relationship to your business. So the flip side of that is you're just sending mass email blasts just to hit all when you have an opportunity to tailor that message depending on user behavior, which means you have an opportunity to increase the likelihood of a buy because you're able to customize those messages. So here is the best way to think about your contact list. If you think of it like your closet and you've got everything in there and it's super messy, you're going to end up buying like the same black sweater over and over and over again because you forgot that you had a black sweater that was already there, right? I'm super guilty of that. I have way too many black sweaters, but I can never find them, so I go get another one. But once you have a clean list, it's like cleaning out that closet, getting rid of all the extra things. So only the most relevant items are left for you to see, and you're able to use them. So let's take a look at the segments that you want to make sure are in your list. And remember, this is building it so that your list works for you. A lot of people get tripped up because there are a lot of different ways and a lot of people out there that are giving you all sorts of fancy mechanisms. And then they stop because they have analysis paralysis. They feel like it's such a big job that they would rather not touch anything so that they don't break anything and lose something that could potentially be useful down the line. And I am here to tell you that when you take these simple steps, your list will be so much more user-friendly and you won't risk losing anything that is actually of value. So segments are groups of people and their relationship to you. So that first segment is going to be active. That means that they have clicked or opened or engaged with your content or they've purchased from you in the last 90 days. The next segment is going to be at risk. These are people that are 90 to 180 days since their last engagement. That means they haven't opened anything in the last 180 days at all, right? So that's like 6 months worth of time. And then inactive, those are going to be your people that haven't touched anything in 6 months or more. They are literally dead weight in your email delivery service. And here's why this matters so much. Let's pretend you have a new offer and you wanted to send it to your list. Now, if you send it to everybody, it's just going to be a generic, blast of what you've got. But if your list is segmented, that means the people that are excited to hear from you, that they're always opening your emails and they've engaged with you in your last 90 days, they're already excited. And so you can message them, hey, I've got something new and cool to induce that click. The people that haven't responded to you like in the last 6 months, they're going to need a little bit more conversation, a reminder, a softer touch of who you are and why they should care about you before you go ahead and pitch them. So when you take a look at having the benefit of a segmented list, that means you can send a message appropriate outgoing email depending on what their behavior has been inside your system. And those inactives, well, they're just dragging you down. They're dead weight. Haven't opened in like over 6 months. It's very, very unlikely they're going to open in the future. And so they are harming your data because you won't actually be able to see what your open rates and your click-through rates or things like that. And so here is something that's really important to think about. Segmentation isn't just busy work. It's actually respect, because it's telling your audience, I see where you are in relationship to me and my business, and I'm going to meet you there. I'm going to meet you where you're at and message you according to how you've decided to engage with me so I can make sure that I am serving you at the highest level. So here's how we get started, right? And even if you just have a spreadsheet or you've got things in MailChimp, you don't really need a fancy CRM or a bunch of like really fancy tools to go ahead and get started. You can literally, with just like Google Sheets, clean out 500 names in an afternoon with a cup of coffee and a good playlist. So once you've got your basic engagement buckets, right? Active, at risk, and basically dead weight. The next thing you want to do is you want to segment by relationship to you. So, is this person an active client? Is that person a prospect? Somebody that hasn't actually said yes to buying anything from you yet? Are they a partner or are they a referral? So, when you take a look at these segments, you have an opportunity to better refine your messaging and have a more targeted outreach when you choose to email. Because when you talk to a partner, that's going to be very different than how you talk to a lead, even if it's regarding the same topic. It's going to be the same brand voice, but with a different purpose, because there is a different intended end user. And when you're able to customize, that makes your brand feel more human. And we know that people do business with people. And so any opportunity you have to humanize or personalize that message is going to increase the likelihood of your success. So when you take a look at sorting by engagement and then sorting by relationship, remember your goal is to chase clarity. We're not just managing data, our goal is to empower communication. Because when you see your audience clearly, you'll be able to reach out and know exactly who to talk to, when to speak to them, and how to engage with that. So, all right, now we've sorted our list, right? And we've gone ahead and identified which buckets everybody goes to. Now I'm going to share some tools with you that you can use that will help clean up and fix your bad data to protect your sender reputation. And protecting your sender reputation is important because every email that you send out, those chunk of people that don't open them, that's going to decrease your sender score. And when you have a lower sender score, that means it's less likely that the people that actually want to see your emails and have engaged are going to see your messaging, because those email service, the platforms that you use to deliver your emails, they are going to, and the other side of email, when they receive them, they're going to put up, think of it like speed bumps getting into your intended receiver's inbox. If you have a low sender score, there are going to be more speed bumps to get into that inbox. If you have a really high sender score, that means you're landing in the right inbox every time. And again, we're talking about increasing the likelihood of people seeing your information. So when you take a look at tools you can use, yes, and I'll go through how to do it manually as well, but there are a lot of tools on the market and probably tools in your system already that you can use. So you can take a look at email verification systems. So that's going to be something like Never Bounce or Zero Bounce. These are systems that do have either a subscription fee or you can pay based on your list size. And what they'll do is they will go through your email list and they will flag fake emails. They will flag emails that are outdated and disposable emails, so you can remove them from your list before your next send. If you are using like HubSpot or ActiveCampaign, the CRM data cleaning, they already have a cleaning feature that's built in. So what you're going to want to do is look for list health or contact cleanup, and it will help do this automatically for you. And finally, if you're just in spreadsheets, what I would encourage you to do is export your list, and you're going to sort your list by domain name. And what that means is you'll be able to spot instantly those duplicate emails, like if somebody signed up for 2 different lead magnets, so they're in there twice. So you'll be able to spot duplicates. You'll be able to spot like suspicious emails or misprints, like at gmail.co, or if Gmail is spelled incorrectly. And you'll also be able to spot those easy fake emails where it's like test123@gmail.com. So even without having to pay any money, put it into a spreadsheet, whether you use Excel or Google Sheets, download that contact list, sort by domain name, and then get rid of the junk from there. So even that quick scan can save you hundreds of undeliverable emails. And that's really important, not only from a money standpoint of what are you paying for your subscription, but also from an email deliverability standpoint. We want to have as few speed bumps as possible getting into that email inbox. So what a lot of people don't realize is that this activity makes your email list stronger. because your sender reputation improves. That means your future emails are more likely to land in inboxes and not spam folders. And you will be able to know, especially if you use one of the verification tools, that you are sending your email to the most likely yes that's out there. So now that you have cleaned up your list, the next element is how do you manage that list moving forward? Cleaning up your list is a lot like spring cleaning, where you do this major, huge project, and then if you don't do upkeep, it's just going to fall apart again. So what is it that we can do as business owners or people that are working in marketing to help keep things clean? So, oh, we have that, good. It looks as though like my slides are a little bit messed up. That's okay. So the slide that I don't have right now that I really want to share with you is the cadence, and this is what's important. We're going to do once a year a big email list cleanup, and that's what we've just talked about. That's where you're going to take the entire list and either send it through a something like the zero bounce, or you're going to do it via spreadsheet and do a huge clean out. And then every quarter, we are going to repeat that process. If you have a very, very large list that has a lot of mobility, and so a large list is going to be anything over 10,000, between 10,000 and 100,000 contacts. If you're playing in that space and you have a lot of a very dynamic list, so you have a lot of churn, you want to make sure that you're doing this process monthly. And once you get into the habit, it's just like keeping house, where you won't have to do such a big job of getting rid of and cleaning out that email list and just increase that email deliverability. So once you have everything tidied up and cleaned up, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate tags for the people that you actually want to keep. So first step, we're going to clean everything. We're going to get it into buckets. We're going to verify who's accurate. And then once you're accurate, we're going to tag them. So if that first part was cleaning everything out, tagging is like labeling the shelves where all of your stuff lives so you don't end up in chaos again. So instead of one long list of names, you're going to have tags that tell you specifically what subgroup your contacts live in. That map helps you send the right message to the right person at the right time. So what I like to do is start tags that are simple and actionable. I like tags that talk about the source. How did that person find you? Did they come from an event? Did they come from referral? Did they come from our website? The second thing is their relationship to you. And we talked a little bit about that in segmentation. And finally, if you have interests, so if you have products that they have purchased, what type of product that they like to buy. And if you can't act on a tag, it's not worth keeping. We all know people, and maybe we're guilty of them, where you have multiple tags that really talk about the same item. I have a good friend, and she runs a large e-com and affiliate business, and she has like 37 different tags for coffee drinkers. We don't need 37 tags for coffee drinkers. So if one tag will do, that is all you need. All right. Remember, it's not just labeling, it's about empowering decisions. You want to have actionable data. And a payoff, of course, is consistency. When you keep up with this, when you make sure that you have a refined system and tags that actually make sense, then you have the opportunity to be very specific in your messaging, which only increases deliverability. So when you take a look at going from chaos to clarity and optimizing your email list, we've got a 3-step process. Number one, you're going to go ahead and sort through that list, right? Who's opening my stuff, who's kind of sort of interested, and who's not opening it at all. Second thing is you're going to run those contacts through a verification tool or use that spreadsheet method that I talked about. And finally, you want to make sure that you have meaningful tags. If we can get it down to like 3, maximum 3 per contact, you are doing a really, really good job. And by implementing these methods, you will have the opportunity to increase the value of your list because you will have a healthy list that sender scores are up. That means they're landing in the inbox that you want to. You're paying just the right amount to take care of that list. and you have a greater opportunity of increasing revenue from your email list. That's what I have. What questions do you have for me today?
This is great, Juliana. So let's just go over to the chat here. There were a couple that came in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you covered this. How often should we be reviewing or cleaning our list? You said there's at least an annual cleaning, but more often?
Yeah, so I would every month you want to be look at your engagement, right? Who's opening, who's going quiet to keep an eye on it. But when you talk about like this big list hygiene that I shared, definitely annually. Twice a year, I like to review my tags just to make sure they still reflect my goals, that they're still relevant to where the business is. And then quarterly, again, we're going to do another quick cleanup just to make sure that, if you have duplicates, you can merge duplicates, that we're keeping things really healthy. Especially if you have multiple lead magnets, that's the circumstance where I see a lot of duplicate emails and systems because they've got great stuff out there. People are opting in on different funnels from different channels, and they end up in your system more than once. And we don't need to have those duplicates. You want to get rid of those on a quarterly basis. Verify and prune. That's what you want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
From Connor, and you mentioned tools like Never Bounce, but which ones are you paying for today?
Yeah. I use Zero Bounce.
Okay.
They are great. I get great insights from them. And I love the fact that they will tell me ones that are like for sure and ones that are like potentially um, a bad email. They also flag spam traps. So there are emails out there, and whether they're put there by people or by bots, what have you, that are actively looking because people are mean for businesses that send a lot of emails so that they can report them, they can
Hmm.
submit for fine money and things like that. And Zero Bounce will flag those known spam trap emails. And so I like that.
Great.
Yep.
Um, Hallie, I'm not sure if your question is based, how can a compromised email be replaced by the real owner? And the site links to a sole email to the same. I think this is more around kind of account setup or verification. And your talk today is more around marketing and kind of demand generation.
Yeah, it's marketing. It's really list hygiene so that you have the appropriate infrastructure to have the greatest likelihood of success messaging via email. Um,
Great. Um, Matt, do you want to just Matt Hobson Road, do you want to just come off mute and run through your question?
Yeah, I've used some email services in the past and I just wondered, is there someone who's really kind of a leader when it comes to using the latest in technology to automate a lot of what you're describing here that in terms of keeping these email lists as fresh and current as possible?
so there are a lot of companies out there that provide this service. And it really depends on how big your list is and how big your company is, whether I recommend going to a third party source.
Okay.
The other thing to keep in mind is your email data is an asset to your business because unlike Facebook followers, you own that. And so you want to be really careful about who you choose to give access to your email list. Um, and so the short answer is I don't have a fan favorite for that. I will
Okay.
tell you that if your list is smaller than like 15,000, it's something that I would recommend doing in-house or contracting of somebody that you trust to take care of these simple steps because it's honestly looking at one report to see how when the last time it was they engaged with you, even doing that just one step and archiving the emails that aren't functional will increase your bottom line because it's going to decrease your spend and it's going to increase the likelihood of those landing. So you don't need to hire somebody like an external company or service to take care of this. It's a very simple hygiene task.
Yeah, sounds like a business opportunity though, right? Small to medium businesses. If
Yep,
yeah, interesting.
probably. It probably could be. Um, but yeah, it's something that business owners should be familiar with who is saying yes to them not just by how much money they're making, but by who is actively engaged in their audience, because that will tell you the health of your offer, whether you're resonating or not. It's super important that business owners have a general idea of what's going on with their list, and how healthy it is.
Got time for another question or two? If anyone wants to come off mute and ask. I've got a question about tags. You've got you had the example of 37 coffee tags. What are some kind of thinking utility of tags? Other reasons or ways or causes for tags?
So if a tag does not allow you to take action, then you should not have that tag, is the first thing. And I think your question is, how do we decide which tags we want to employ, and how do we keep those current? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
When to retire a tag. Yeah, it's a great example.
Okay, cool. So the first thing is, when you think about your business at a high level and you think about who comes into your ecosystem and what you want them to do, those actions, tags should be connected to those actions. So if they have purchased something from you and it's of a specific like product line, that's connected to an action. Now, my friend who has coffee tagged a bunch of times, she, because of her affiliate site, has sold a lot of different coffee products, like coffee beans and coffee makers and, coffee cups, right? And because of that, things got super messy for her. And so it became an unusable tag because it didn't give her all the data she needed when she wanted just to talk to coffee lovers. And so when you think about what tags are important to me, you need to think about, what groups of people do I want to talk to, and what action do I want them to take? And ideally, we don't have people with more than 3 tags, because if they have more than 3 tags, you're going to get yourself into a situation where you're not able to have a big lever with which to message to your market.
Interesting. Sounds like some tag spring cleaning is also, if your tags are as plentiful as your contact list.
Yep. And that's really like, are they still serving your goals?
Yeah.
Because if you've been in business for, any amount of time, your business has evolved. And things that were important to you 4 years ago probably aren't the same things that are important to you right now, and the things that are going to take you to your next level of growth. So yes, that's part of your big spring cleaning. But that's something, especially for high growth companies, I recommend you review twice a year to make sure, especially those companies that are moving super fast. What are the business objectives? How does email support that? What information do I need in order to achieve those goals? And then I'm going to tag appropriately.
Great. We'll make Mike's question the last question.
Okay.
So good sources of email lists that have pre-scrubbed their addresses for accuracy. So, every once in a while we get offers in our email to buy email lists. How should we think about that?
So I am always super hesitant to just purchase email lists outright, because you don't necessarily know how those lists were cultivated. And especially if you're sending to states like Washington, there are huge implications, or the UK, of emailing somebody that was not appropriately acquired. Rather than purchasing a list, I prefer to engage in something that's like an audience share. So maybe not a full JV, but find somebody who serves the same audience as you, and see what type of partnership you can broker to have access and grow your list that way. That way, you know that it's coming from a known source. You know that their emails are likely, hopefully if they're taking care of their hygiene, right, at minimum are going to be vetted. And then you can take care of the hygiene on your side if they haven't been. But rather than just purchasing from a list broker, I would strongly encourage you to find another business that serves the same audience, broker even if it's just a content partnership, so you get access to that list, that'll serve both of you very well and have a much better option than just buying a list. I'll give you a quick example. One of my big projects is I take care of the marketing for the Nashville Oktoberfest. And so a big effort for us was to have partnerships like with the Tennessee Titans and the Nashville Predators, because I wanted to email their season ticket holders, because I knew their season ticket holders were likely to be local. I knew that they were likely to be at a spot where they're going to pay, $200-300 for an event because they're buying tickets. Leveraging that type of relationship has been a significantly more fruitful choice than just purchasing a list of people that live in the general Nashville area that have a certain income level. So that's a long way to say, proceed with caution, find a partner.
Great. Super.
Yep.
Juliana, thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom and experience. And if people want to connect with you, I found you on LinkedIn, but any last minute plug you want to make?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Juliana Stachurski, and I know you're not going to remember that because it's really, really long and has lots of letters. So I named my company Mercer Franklin. And so if you go to mercerfranklin.com, you'll be able to get in touch with me there. And that's probably, between LinkedIn and the website itself, are going to be the two most direct routes to be in contact with me.
Great. Thanks for coming out and sharing today. And thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you next week.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. Have a good one.